today because we're celebrating a very special event. What? Did you know that Lowell Elementary, our school, is 130 years? No! What? 130 years. That is a long time. Did you know? Whoops, I'll wait. Did you know that when Lowell Elementary was first built, there were cows and pigs and horses right by the playground? Can you imagine what that would be like? That if you were out on the playground and you looked out and there would be horses and pigs and cows right by the playground. What do you think about that? That's crazy, isn't it? All right, let me tell you something else. Oops, I'll wait. I'll wait. I have some important information. Raise your hand if you've ever had a pair of Nike tennis shoes. Those tennis shoes that have a little swoosh on the side. Raise your hand if you've ever had a pair of Nike tennis shoes. I'm going to tell you something about that. Listen closely so you can hear it. When we buy those shoes in the store right now, they're about $65. And did you know a teacher back when Lowell was open made $65 for the whole year of teaching? Do you think that's a lot of money? Show me with a thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you think $65 is a lot of money? Yeah, it's not a lot, but they did it. All right. Boys and girls, I'm not going to keep you much longer, but we need to do something special. We need to sing Happy Birthday, okay? Now, when we're singing Happy Birthday, we're not going to yell and scream. We're just going to sing it in our best voice. But in order for us to do that, I brought a special guest. Who do you see coming there? Okay, listen closely. All right. We have Mrs. Tiedemann here? Yeah. Mrs. Tiedemann, will you start us off, please? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lowell Elementary. Happy birthday to you. Can you help me blow it out, Mr. Bulldog? Before you leave, I want you to see this tree back here. This tree was planted in honor of our 130th birthday. What? So Miss Lori, the clerical that sits at the front desk that waits and checks you in the morning, another family, Mr. and Mrs. Lundy, bought it, the PTO bought it, and Mrs. Kennedy and her husband, Mr. Kennedy, also put money towards the tree. So this tree will be here and get really big and tall so that when you guys are adults and grandparents someday, you can come back and look at this tree.
Adrian, Ezra, you need to be by our class. Adrian, by the class. Right here.
That's our entry class.
We are here today because we are celebrating the fact that Lowell Elementary is 130 years old. Can you believe that? That is awesome. Yep, that's a long time. Miss Lori, in a few minutes, is going to talk to you about how Lowell has changed over the years. But she's also going to tell you how Lowell has stayed the same. I wonder how that happened. So I'm going to actually just turn it over to her right now, and she is going to tell you some things about Lowell.
All right, everybody. Lowell is 130 years old. Amazing, huh? When it was built in 1891, it was a country school. You see the picture? It's in the country. There's no trees. There's nothing, right? It's really big. I know. It was named after James Russell Lowell. He had died in August, a few months before the school was built, and he was a poet. A poet is somebody who writes poems. And you'll learn about that in your writing class. See, you can see as the school gets older, the trees grow. When they built the school, it cost about $35,000. Not very much for the building, not for the land, okay? Land is a different cost, we don't need to get into that. So Lowell has a history, it has had 3 fires. I had a really hard time finding the first fire. It happened before this school opened. That was part of the problem. The second fire happened in 1906. There's some debate on whether it was started by a lantern or by the coal bin. And coal is what was used to heat the school. Okay, so lantern is what they used for a light source. Coal is what they used for a heat source. And those are 2 different types of energy. I'm going to skip through some slides because some of it is information that you can have, and if your teachers or you want information, I would be happy to accept a written note with a question about what information you would like, and then I will come and talk to you about it either individually or as a classroom, okay? So over the years, Lowell served a lot of different purposes. So it's been a school. It's been, when it first opened, it served kindergarten through 12th grade. It was a school for nursing. We're not taking questions today. It then went through 8th grade, it went through 6th grade, and then it became kindergarten through 5th grade. We've all passed by the Sioux in the trophy case. So this is just a reminder that take both of your shoes home, don't leave them behind, because when they do reconstruction sometimes, your shoe ends up in the trophy case. This was found when they remodeled the stage in 1934. So take both your shoes home. You don't want to do that. Lowell had a really active PTA, and a PTA is when parents and teachers work together for a common goal. And that common goal is you and your education. And so Lowell was the center of Sioux Falls, and it fought for a lot of things. And one of the things I learned was that in the 1960s, the PTA was buying things like staples and staplers. And students in 3rd grade were writing notes, thanking the PTA for things like that. It was kind of fun. I'm like, really? The PTA had to buy things like that for teachers. It was fun. So back before Facebook, how do people share information? That's the question, right? There was a thing called the newspaper. And I've read a lot of that lately because that's how I got my information. Because now we just look everything up on social media or the internet. So there was a PTA, and the PTA historian clipped a lot of information. But your parents back then would put all of this information and share all your information. Or the PTA person would share all the information in the newspaper. So you could read about it, what you were doing, or marriage announcements, or baby announcements, or Cub Scout meetings, or PTA meetings in the newspaper. So this is one of the changes the building went through with its construction in 1967. This looks a little bit more familiar with what we see now. Okay, so I'm just going to share some fun facts. So one time at Lowell, there was a gym above our library. Can you believe it? Until 2003, before most of you were born, there was a stage in the library. So when we look at the library, we're looking this way, there used to be a stage there. Can you believe it? They thought we needed air conditioning. I don't know. School didn't start until 9 a.m. And at one point, we went home for an hour and a half over lunch. And then we came back. And I'm thinking you went home for lunch and a nap. And here's another thing I think is funny. Notes still went home to parents that you came to the playground too early. Can you believe it? There were still notes, and this is like before your parents were born kind of notes. Okay? You came to the playground too early. So back in 1891, teachers made $65 a year. a year. So $65 is like a pair of Nikes. Can you imagine surviving on $65 for a whole year? No, it's crazy, isn't it? Okay, so things that are the same. Class pictures. Everybody has it. We had class pictures back then. We have class pictures today. We talked this morning about students, right? Who, like staff and students, who went to school here? Sorry, I lost my mouse. Sorry, I just went backwards. I clicked. All right, here we go. Do we know who this lady is? This is her when she was in second grade. All right. Yeah, she was a second grader here. This is a class of 2000, and they were in kindergarten.
Remember our rules.
Okay.
Cross applesauce, voices up, hands in our lap.
This is Mrs. Misty Young's class. They'll be the class of 2035.
No.
This is the Lowell School in 1891. Teachers grading the students. Here we are grading students still. We still do that, right? Here we are, back at the beginning. We've been invested in our community. We're rooted in our community. Where are we going to go next? Where are we going to go? Who knows? You know, things that haven't changed. Teachers are invested in you, right? The community is invested in you. Your parents are invested in you.
Miss Lori has been here for 17 years, so she is very much adores and loves being at Lowell Elementary. This next message before we get started, if you look back there, you will see our SR officer, Officer Darren. He is our school resource officer, so he is here to help us. So he will, I'm sure, start coming around, hopefully, so he can meet you. Now, eyes up on the screen. This is his boss, Sergeant Toom. Sergeant Toom went to school at Lowell when he was a kindergartner, all the way up through, I believe, 6th grade, if I remember correctly. So he went to school at Lowell. He lived about a block from here. Like you go down one block and you go one block to the right, that is where he lived. He also has a twin brother who's a doctor in Sioux Falls, and he has a younger brother that's a doctor in Sioux Falls. And he was going to be here today to talk to you and let you ask him questions, but he's in Pierre, South Dakota, where our capital is, and he has a job that he's doing there. So he sent us a message that he wants to tell you about being at Lowell. If I know how to play it.
Greetings, Lowell Elementary. My name is John Toom. I'm the Sioux Falls Police Department Police Chief and a proud former student at Lowell Elementary. Thanks for inviting me today. I unfortunately am out of town in Pierre, South Dakota, and I couldn't make it to today's celebration, but wanted to take time to record a video to say hello. It's a great thing to celebrate the 130th anniversary of Lowell Elementary. And like I said, a school I went to, and 30 years ago when I was there, I think we were celebrating their 100th anniversary. And so it's really cool to see this school and how it's grown, and to see that it's still going strong. What I want to talk to you about today is just how proud I am of being from Lowell. Me and my brothers lived there. We grew up a block away from the school, and have a lot of fond memories of being at that school. And the importance of just working hard and at both school and whatever you do to be successful. I know sometimes people talk about where you're from and what school you go to, but what matters more than anything is just how hard you're willing to work. And I know a lot of the great teachers and a lot of the great students at Lowell are off to great things, and I want to encourage you to work hard and do the right thing and be a good member of our community and really be proud of being from Lowell Elementary and the proud history that it has in our community. So I hope to stop by and see you soon in person. As like I said, I'm really proud to be from Lowell, and great students come out of Lowell and do great things. So keep up that tradition.
Isn't that pretty cool that someone who has a really important job in our city went to Lowell Elementary? And the message he's telling you is, if you work hard and you show grit and perseverance, you too can do great things. Out on the, as you leave here, you're going to see on the left side, you can see a bulletin board that Mrs. Kennedy started that says you can go anywhere from here. And I have 3 people up there already, and what they are is pictures of people that have gone here and the job they've done. Tonight, we have a birthday party for adults that went to Lowell Elementary, and so we have some people coming from far away to come back to Lowell to see what the building looks like now. We're going to take their picture, we're going to find out what they're doing now, and we're going to add them to our bulletin board out there. So every time you come to gym, you're going to be able to see all the cool things that people have done once they've left Lowell Elementary. And eventually, you'll be able to say you've done the same thing. That's pretty cool. So we are going to celebrate, and we can't celebrate birthdays without a birthday cake. So I'm going to ask my
My son went to Lowell. Yes, he went here from kindergarten through 4th grade. My granddaughter goes here. My son came and visited when he was in the military and spoke to my other son's 2nd grade class. And my daughter volunteered when she was in the mentor program at Lincoln. And she taught with, worked in Mrs. James's kindergarten classroom. My family's invested. This is my 17th school year. So today is Lowell's 130th birthday, and we have spent the whole day celebrating. We had a couple different ceremonies with the different grade levels. We did 2 assemblies with the 2, 3, and 4, 5 grade levels, where we gave them a brief presentation going over some relevant history and relatable history for them. The school, when it was built in 1891, cost $35,000. Well, today, when we go to build the next elementary school, it's estimated to cost $24.5 million. So that's 600 times what our school cost 130 years ago. So that's a number that's relatable. There are a lot of people here. Most of the people here tonight are former students of Lowell. And what is amazing is the stories that people have and their willingness to share it and their want to share it. And that's what I love about this, is I'll listen to somebody's story all night long because it's their story to tell, and I'm here and I want to know it. And I'm just receiving everybody's information. I got to visit with some past principals, some former students, even some former students who just left last year. It's just nice to see whether you're a student or a teacher a year ago or 10 years ago or 50 years ago. It's fun to see people. I love it.
Well, we have a gentleman that loves to arrange things like this for us, so he arranged this, and it was a good idea. So we all, or a few of us, came and enjoyed it. Yeah, we all went to same grades. We still get together once in a while when one of our students comes from the Carolinas. In the summer, we have a 50-year reunion with these folks. And yes, we don't live close to each other, but we still live Sioux Falls and right around. And we still, yes, we're very close. We were a very close crew. We had a lot of fun here, we really did. And how much different school was then than it is now. But this is a great school. I mean, it's got lovely rooms. It's a nice, nice school. And we did have fun here. Well, let's put it this way. If we did some of this stuff now that we did back then, we'd be in jail. In fact, we just talked about a fact that we had a student teacher that never went into teaching after she was done with us. We say it was all the boys, so they say it was the girls, but it's up for a vote. But grade school had a lot of good memories.